Welcome, everyone, to our module on coaching. In our last module, we explored the power of understanding and leveraging strengths. Now we're going to dive into how we, as leaders, can actively coach our teams to unlock their full potential and drive success within our rural community colleges. Before I got into higher education, I spent a lot of time on the basketball court as a high school coach. And like many coaches, I deeply admired the work of the legendary UCLA coach, John Wooden. Wooden was more than just a basketball coach. He was a master of development, and many of his principles translate directly to effective leadership in any setting. Wooden was famous for his absolute insistence on fundamentals. He even taught his players how to tie their shoes properly. It wasn't about being nitpicky, it was about preventing blisters and ensuring they were always ready to perform at their best. He had incredibly high standards for everyone on his team. It didn't matter if you were the star player or the last man on the bench. Everyone had to adhere to the team's rules, even in something as seemingly small as being clean shaven. He believed in thorough preparation, ensuring his players were equipped for any situation they might encounter on the court. He also famously emphasized teamwork over individual glory. His players understood that collective success was paramount. And perhaps most importantly, Wooden was deeply committed to long term player development. He didn't just want good basketball players, he wanted to help them become good people. He often spoke about his pyramid of success, which emphasized character traits like industriousness, friendship, and cooperation, values that extend far beyond the basketball court. For example, he regularly checked in with his players about their academic progress and encouraged them to pursue their interests outside of basketball, understanding that a well rounded individual would ultimately be a more valuable member of society. In today's workplace, we don't want a boss who simply dictates tasks. We want a coach who helps us engage, grow, and thrive. This shift has become increasingly vital as our jobs become less routine and everyone has immediate access to information. The traditional top down management style is no longer effective in a dynamic environment where continuous learning and adaptation are key. A truly successful coach in the workplace does three critical things. Number one, establishes expectations. This is something we covered in detail in our module on expectation standards. A clear understanding of what's expected is the foundation for any successful coaching relationship. Number two, continually coach. This is what we'll be focusing on today, the ongoing process of guiding, supporting, and developing your team members. Number three, create accountability. This is often where managers struggle. We generally associate accountability with something negative, where a supervisor is looking to catch us doing something wrong. But let's reframe that. Think about it. If you're trying to make a positive habit change in your personal life, what's one of the most effective tools? An accountability partner. Someone you trust and respect who checks in on your progress regularly. In our own minds, we can easily justify not making the progress we want. But when someone we value asks us about our progress, we're far more likely to stick to our commitments. As a manager, you can provide powerful, positive accountability for your staff. This isn't about punishment, it's about partnership. It's about regularly checking in, not just on what they're doing, but how they're doing, and helping them overcome obstacles. For example, if a team member sets a goal to improve their public speaking skills, you can regularly ask, what steps have you taken this week to practice your presentation? Or, what's one new technique you tried in your last meeting? You're not judging, you're facilitating their progress and reinforcing their commitment to their own development. This type of positive accountability helps individuals reach the goals they want to reach and develop into the people they aspire to be. Now, how do we actually continually coach and create accountability? One of the most powerful, yet often misused tools at our disposal is meetings. When we hear the M word, many of us have negative thoughts. We've all sat through endless meetings that accomplished nothing or were just an opportunity for someone to grandstand. And it's true, meetings can be a waste of time. However, meetings can also be incredibly powerful if the manager organizes them correctly and is able to facilitate them effectively. When structured with purpose and a clear agenda, meetings become invaluable opportunities for coaching, collaboration, and progress. In fact, individual meetings can be one of the most effective methods to help individuals accomplish both the college's and their own personal mission. Gallup's research has highlighted the impact of 5 different types of meeting that, when used strategically, foster engagement and development. The first one of these meetings is a role and relationship orientation. The purpose of this annual meeting is to truly get to know each individual on your team, understand their strengths, aspirations, and how they see their role contributing to the larger mission. It's about aligning their individual expectation with the organization's overall objectives. Second, the Quick Connect. This is a brief weekly touch point, whether it's an email, a quick phone call, or even a hallway conversation. The goal of the Quick Connect is to quickly overcome any immediate barriers and ensure everyone is on the right track. It's easy for these to devolve into a gripe session, so it's crucial to keep them quick and focused on outcomes. I found it's also highly beneficial to connect with each employee on a personal level in these brief interactions, even if it's just a quick, "How was your weekend?" Third, the check in, which happens once or twice a month. This check in provides a more in depth opportunity to discuss expectations, workload, goals, and individual needs. This is where you can sit down and truly talk through challenges, issues, and the progress an individual is making towards their goals. It's a chance to offer more targeted coaching and support. Number 4, developmental coaching. These meetings are specifically designed to help individuals grow in different areas. This is where you focus on skill development, career progression, and addressing specific areas for improvement. Our next module will dig much deeper into the specifics of developmental coaching. Number 5, the progress review at the end of the year. This comprehensive annual meeting provides an opportunity to reflect on the past year and plan for the future. By intentionally structuring and utilizing these different types of meetings, you can transform them from perceived time wasters into powerful coaching opportunities that drive individual and organizational success. When I first started as a manager and people made commitments in a meeting, I just assumed they would fulfill the commitment. Then the team would meet the next month, and I'd ask an individual about their commitment, and they'd mention they had not committed to this. There was a misunderstanding. It can be difficult to keep track of the different conversations you have in these meetings. When I have these meetings, I take meeting notes in OneNote and highlight the commitments the person and I both make. At the end of the meeting, I email my notes to the person I met with, so we are both on the same page and understand the commitments we both made. It is just as much as an accountability tool for me. Now, a quick note on the progress review meeting. This meeting can and often should be in addition to the formal evaluation process at your college. Let's be honest, most employees don't see the formal evaluation process as an opportunity for feedback and development. It often feels like a grade or just an evaluation with an emphasis on checkboxes that isn't always helpful for growth. This comprehensive annual progress review gives us a great chance to look back at the past year and really plan for what's next. During this meeting, we'll cover some key subjects, almost like different facets of their work and growth. First, we'll talk about their purpose. This is where we revisit their role and how it truly impacts our college's mission. We'll make sure they still feel connected to the bigger picture. Second, we'll dive into their goals. We'll review the progress they've made on what we set out to do, and then we'll map out new goals for the upcoming year. Next up is metrics. This is where we look at the actual performance data and talk about how it shows their contributions and the impact they're making. Up next, we'll focus on their development. We'll highlight where they've grown, celebrate those wins, and then really plan for future learning and skill building. It's also important to connect their work to the bigger picture, so we'll discuss their strategy. How does what they do align with the broader college goals and initiatives? We'll also spend some time talking about their team. This is a chance to reflect on how they contribute to the team's dynamic and overall collaboration. We'll look at what's working well and where we can continue to strengthen our teamwork. Finally, and this is so important, we'll check in on their well-being. We want to make sure they're finding that crucial work-life balance and have the support they need to thrive. At the end of this video, I'll share a template to help you shape your progress review. Hopefully, by consistently following the coaching plan we've outlined, your team will be meeting expectations and achieving desired outcomes. Most of the time, people truly do rise to the level of standard set. However, there are times when individuals are not performing at the level needed. When this happens, it's crucial to have a structured approach based on a progression of severity. First up, when it comes to employee discipline, there's an initial coaching conversation. It's important to have a direct, yet supportive coaching conversation about the specific performance issue. Approach it from a problem solving perspective and work together with the individual to identify the root cause and come up with potential solutions. This is an opportunity for them to own the improvement. Secondly, it's time for a verbal warning. If the situation doesn't improve after the coaching conversation, the next step is to issue a verbal warning. During the conversation, make sure the individual is absolutely clear on what needs to be done, the specific performance expectations, and the time frame for improvement. If that doesn't make a difference, move to a written performance improvement plan. When you provide a performance improvement plan, I always have a third individual present in the meeting to ensure there's another party to witness the conversation and the delivery of the plan. This also provides an additional layer of support and documentation. As you work through any disciplinary process, make sure you document all conversations, observations, and performance data from the individual. Keep your HR office in the loop at every stage. And most importantly, always review your college's specific procedures for individual discipline to ensure you're following all institutional policies and legal requirements. It's critical to recognize that not all employee situations are appropriate for direct managerial coaching. For instance, Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA, provides eligible employees with job protected leave for specific family and medical reasons. Managers should never attempt to interpret or advise on FMLA eligibility or process, and instead must immediately direct the employee to human resources. Similarly, accommodations refer to reasonable adjustments made to a job or work environment to enable an individual with a disability to perform their job duties. Managers should not attempt to determine what constitutes a reasonable accommodation or engage in discussions about an employee's medical condition, and must instead partner with human resources to navigate the interactive process. In both FMLA and accommodation matters, managers should refrain from independent action or advice and promptly involve their human resources department to ensure compliance with legal requirements and proper support for the employee. This structured approach to individual meetings, from the weekly Quick Connect to the annual progress review, forms the backbone of effective individual coaching. By embracing these practices, managers can foster continuous development, ensure accountability, and build a strong foundation of engaged and high performing staff. To help you put these principles into practice, I've provided templates for planning your individual meetings. These resources will guide you in structuring effective check ins, developmental discussions, and progress reviews. Next, I'll provide some tips and suggestions on how what you do in these individual meetings can make a big difference in their effectiveness.